What's up, everyone? Welcome back to On Tap Bets. I'm your host, Cody. Follow me on Twitter at Cody on Tap. Joined, as always, with my buddy Joey. Follow him on Twitter at The Riot326. We're back. We had a profitable weekend. I guess that's a good way to start it. Joey, how you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. When we have a weekend like we did last weekend, you can't really complain too much. And I think, I just want to keep this thing going here, and hopefully we can give out some winners and win a little bit more money for ourselves. I know that Lock'em parlay almost hit last weekend.
One leg, man.
Yeah.
The Lock'em parlay almost hit.
It's tough. It's tough. Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, it's tough. But before we really dive into anything, I want to remind everyone to go follow, obviously follow us, but follow On Tap Sportsnet on social media on whatever platform, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Go if you don't follow us on Facebook or YouTube, head on over there right now. Watch the stream, leave a comment, interact with us because we got some great plays for the NFL wildcard weekend coming up. And unfortunately on Twitter, they don't let us leave comments. If you follow any stream for On Tap, you probably know that by now. So again, just tune in, join the conversation on Facebook or YouTube. And again, if you're listening via podcast form, thanks for listening. Our listens have gone up a little bit, so that's exciting. Am I missing anything else, Joey? I feel like I'm missing one more thing. What am I missing?
Nothing I can think of. I think there's, pretty much that's it. Well, I guess Bet Rivers, you give out a promotion to Bet Rivers. We got the $250.
Oh, yeah, use the code. If you head on over down to Rosemont, use the code ONTAP when you sign up. I think you get $250 of bonus cash just to start out with, which is awesome. That's cool and tough. Joey, you mentioned the Lock'em parlay. It was a bad beat because we made it to the 3 p.m. slate, and like all we needed was the Saints to win, a Tyler Lockett touchdown, and Kyle Pitts to get like 60 yards receiving. And the Saints -3 was never down. That was a pick that we gave you. And the Saints, obviously, since it was -3, their money line, we just threw the Saints money line in there. It was never a doubt. Tyler Lockett scored the first touchdown of the game again in the Seahawks Cardinals game. So all we needed in the 3 o'clock slate for most of it was for Kyle Pitts to just give us 61 or 62 yards receiving, and we would have won a parlay that was at over 5,000 or plus 5,000 odds, man. I had $10 on that, would have won like, I don't know, $400 or $500. I was sweating, man. I was sweating so hard on it.
I felt so good about it too. Once it got to, once we got that little glimmer of hope, Lockett gets in the end zone. Like that one was kind of, to me, the hardest. And then everything else was like, all right, it's all clicking. Saints are winning. And in that game, though, we had the Russell Gage game. What in the world? How does this guy have like the best game of his career when Kyle Pitts needs the tight end rookie receiving record?
Right.
If he gets like nothing, like less than 10 yards receiving or some bullshit, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm never going to this goes back to my thing about never betting the Falcons, man. I can't bet on prop bets. Like going into next year, if Matt Ryan's still a quarterback and, they still have like the same coaching and everything, I might just fade them just for this parlay because of this parlay loss.
Yeah.
Like I can't bring myself to bet anything on the Falcons. Like I learned 2 years ago that I shouldn't do it. I lost a bunch. And then this year I didn't lose because of them. I never bet on the Falcons at all this year. Not once. And every time I bet on a game that they're involved in, I took the other team and I hit every time. Like that's not even like a exaggeration. When I bet on a game against that had the Falcons in it, I bet against them every time and it hit every single time. So if there's any advice, just fade the Falcons more often than not, man. And all their prop bets apparently.
you're probably going to be come out on top more times than not. I remember earlier this year, I think because like with the tally site, you can we share the picks on Twitter and stuff to give them
Yeah.
out or whatever. I had the Falcons on one, and I remember you like tweeted to me, you're like, "Oh, the Falcons" or something, or "Yikes, good luck with the Falcons" or something. And I'm like, yeah, I'm probably going to regret this." Yeah, sure enough, definitely regretted it. Uh, Fade the Falcons if you can at all times. I think that's the lesson we all learned from this. Yeah, don't bet on the
Yeah.
Falcons.
With that said, though, I mean, even though we lost the parlay, and if you rode on the parlay with us, thanks for riding. We're going to have another one for NFL Wildcard Weekend, most likely on Sunday, but hell, we might just put one out on Saturday, too, for the two games that we're going to talk about here in a second. But like our single bets, though, we did well. Like outside of the Bears, we had the over on Cowboys Eagles, which was 43. The Cowboys put up 51 points themselves. So that was literally never a doubt. We had Steelers plus 3.5. They won outright. We had Saints -3, like I said earlier. 49ers plus 4.5. And there's another game in there that I feel like. Oh, yeah, Chargers. And was there a Monday night game? I can't
That
remember.
was Monday night. No, that was just a Sunday night game.
No, that was college football game. Sunday night, Chargers, Raiders.
We could talk about that too.
I took the over 48.5. That hit in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I think you took the Chargers -3.
No, I was leaning that way. I don't think I actually ever ended up betting them. Maybe a money line. I'm not sure. But
That was like the most wild time on Twitter. Like everyone was rooting for a tie. Like
I
I kind of
know.
regretted not going through and just like putting $10 on the game to tie.
I wanted to. I was going to. I planned on it, and then we left the house. We recorded and did the live stream for Bears on Tap after the Bears game, and then my mother-in-law, it was her birthday party that night, so I had to leave. We had to drive 45 minutes, and I never ended up putting that bet in. And then by the time the game was on, and everybody's going nuts and like messaging back and forth, yeah, I hope this ends in a tie. And I'm like, I can't enjoy this like the rest of you fuckers because I wanted it to end in a tie, and I wanted to bet on it, and I didn't bet on it.
Yeah.
So I'm with you.
Right. That game was wild though. I'm just glad that I had the over at least, and like it was never real. I mean, it was a little bit of a sweat in that fourth quarter. Thankfully, Justin Herbert decided to pull out the big guns and lead the comeback, leading to the overhitting. I appreciate that. But yeah. So yeah, overall, outside of the Bears, who we're not going to talk about because fuck them, fuck their ownership, and fuck them in general. They were like one of the worst teams this year to bet on. They were like 6-11 against the spread this year. Just terrible. Just terrible. Not only are they bad at football, but they don't know how to cover. Like bad teams are bad. Even worse teams don't cover. Like that's my best like reverse.
If you can't cover, I've always said, if you can't cover, you deserve to lose.
Yeah, I agree.
How I feel. How I feel about the Bears.
Right. Yeah. No more. We're not talking
dude,
about
and Cody, just one more thing. Yeah. They didn't cover that game, and they were winning by as much as they were at halftime, and they couldn't cover that game. Just absolutely embarrassing.
It was 5.5 when we talked about it. It moved all the way down to 3.5 on game day. Those motherfuckers, man. Those motherfuckers. Like me and you were like, we thought it was an absolute lock that they're going to win that game. And the way they played in that first half, it made they did everything that we said that they were going to do. I said that Kirk Cousins was going to suck because he always sucks against the Bears. And you said that the defense was going to do what the defense does. And what did we get? We got that. We got Kirk Cousins sucking, and we got the Bears defense making him like hate his life.
Yeah.
And then they find like Justin Jefferson came like 12 yards short of breaking Randy Moss's single season record.
Yeah, Mike Zimmer's a piece of shit for that, by the way. Should have just let him do it. But
for sure. Yeah. Yeah, man. I can't even. I'm just glad the season's over for the Bears. Let's talk about some playoff football. You ready, man?
Let's do it.
All right. So we're starting her off with the Las Vegas Raiders and the Cincinnati Bengals, two teams who both have long playoff drought, like playoff drought wins. Like, they haven't won in the playoffs in a long time. It's been like since 1990 for the Bengals, 2002 for the Raiders. Ironically, the last time the Raiders run a playoff game was when they went to the Super Bowl in 2002. Bengals 1990, like I said. So it's been a long time since they have won a playoff game. Hell, it's been a long time. It feels like since both teams even made the playoffs. Raiders been since like 2016. And then I'm assuming the last time the Bengals went, Andy Dalton was under center for them. And Vontaze Burfict like destroyed Antonio Brown in that one game or whatever. I feel like that was like the last time the Bengals were in the playoffs. But either way, I think the Steelers won that game. So it's been a while, man. I'm not going to lie to you. This game, to me, it's the hardest this week for me to decide. How do you feel about it?
It's real tough because I look at these teams and they're both two of the hottest teams coming in to end the season, actually. I mean, the Raiders, they have 4 straight wins to barely make the playoffs. I mean, we saw the Sunday night game, obviously. The Bengals, they won 3 straight and clinched against the Chiefs. Then they lost last week, but they got to sit their starters. Like Joe Burrow wasn't playing. Jamar Chase, I think he just was in there for the record, and then they got him out of there. I mean, they were really able to use last week almost like a bye week. So that's kind of like to me, I feel like that's going to play a factor here a little bit as there's the rest. But it's hard to root against this Raiders team without John Gruden with what they've been able to do. I mean, Rich Bisaccia, the focaccia bread or whatever, my Italian paisan, he's got this team playing hard. They're playing well. And the Bengals, they're so fun. Like I'm a Burrow guy. I like that offense. I really love watching that team play, and I root for them. And like from a football standpoint, these teams are both very equally matched. Like offensively, 18th ranked DVOA for the Bengals, 19th ranked for the Raiders. Pass offense 15th and 17th in favor of the Bengals. Run offense, the Bengals are a little bit better, but then defensively, the Bengals are 17th in DVOA overall, the Raiders are 17th, and the Bengals are 19th. So it's like both these teams are really pretty equal. I just have to go with what I believe here, and I think the rest is going to come into play, even though I think you want to take road dogs, or you want to take dogs in the wild card round against the spread. I'm going to go ahead and say that the Bengals are going to win this game by a touchdown. Where are you at, Cody?
All right, so you're taking Bengals. Right now, I see it at 5.5. So you got Bengals.
Oh, went back up? Okay.
Yeah, I see it at 5.5 today. What would you play it up to? Just curious.
Just where it's at, probably. If it moves any further, like to 6, I might consider it still with the Bengals. I think they win the game by a touchdown. I wouldn't play it much higher than that, though, because I think it's a little risky.
Yeah. I feel you. See, last week we were both on the same thing. So this week we're due for a little bit of difference. And I can't take the Bengals in this one. A lot of it has to do with history. I know the Raiders haven't won a playoff game in a long time, but like Derek Carr didn't play in that last time they went to the postseason in 2016. And that has to be something that he has like been thinking about for a long time. Remember when John Gruden came in and that first year the Raiders were so bad and people were talking about how Gruden was just going to move on from Derek Carr, and like how Derek Carr's career just went from like where it was really high and now it's down, and then it came down. And just these last couple of years, the Raiders have just been very average, 10-7 this year because of the extra game. So if you take that extra game out, they're 9-7, whatever. So still not like they're not great. Obviously, that's why they're playing this week and, didn't get a bye or anything like that. But I don't know, man. I feel like there's just so much more to play here for the Raiders. Like there's so much more chip on their shoulder to come out here and win this game, or at least cover. And that's why I like the Raiders plus 5.5, because Joe Burrow's first playoff game, Jamar Chase's first playoff game, And I know only Carr and Jalen Richard are the only people on this team that was part of that 2016 team. But there's more experience on Derek Carr's side here. And I don't know. Like, it's just I can't I want to take the Bengals because I do think Joe Burrow is better than Derek Carr. But I don't know, man. You know how it gets in the playoffs, especially in these early rounds. Like this is one where it's a toss-up, even though the spread doesn't say it's a toss-up. I think it's more of a toss-up. And because it's at 5.5, I got to take the Raiders. Now, if it went down under, like if it went down to 3 or 2.5, like I probably lean Bengals then. Because I do think the Bengals should win this game, but I don't think they win by a touchdown. I think this game's closer. Both defenses are pretty similar in my opinion, kind of like what you said. I just don't see the Raiders coming out and like laying an egg. Like I see them like they're going to be in this game and they're going to, Derek Carr I feel like Derek Carr is going to put together the best game of his career in this game because like he knows that like it's hard to make the playoffs because of his entire career. He's only made it one time and he didn't even get to play in the game because of an injury. So he's going to take full advantage of this game, in my opinion. And because of that, he's going to make sure the Raiders are in this game and have a chance to win. So I'm with our buddy Zach. I was Zach. Here, he's on the Raiders plus 5.5. I'm on the Raiders plus 5.5, man.
What? I can't argue against what you're saying, Cody, because this one could go either way. I do believe that this is more of a coin flip game. I was looking at some other stuff too. The reason why I like the Bengals to cover is not necessarily because I believe that there's that much disparity in the teams as far as like the point wise, because I think it is a lot of points. Like I believe it's probably way too many points. But I was also looking at it as far as like 129-19 against the spread for the winner of the wild card games. Basically, that's the history. The winner of the wild card games, they're covering the spread at that number of a clip. Whoever wins the game basically covers. So I'm like, if I think they're going to win the game in this particular matchup, I'm like, fuck it. I think they're just going to cover. But anything more than like where it's at now, I do not like it. And
yeah,
Zach's got a comment here too. Bengals 28th in the league in passing yards allowed. Raiders 6th in passing yards per game. That's what tipped it for me. I agree. I mean, and I agree with you, Cody. I think they are going to be able to throw the ball. The Raiders will be able to move it. I do question Darren Waller a little bit because he's been banged up and him just coming back for this game. That's another prop bet that I was considering looking at was taking the under on Darren Waller's receiving yards because I'm not quite sure he's fully healthy and because we haven't seen what he's been able to do lately. But I do like taking the over in Hunter Renfro's receiving yards. It's at like 55.5. So it's kind of like a correlation move, I guess. If I'm taking the under on one, it's got to be his next top target. So I guess maybe that's a little bit odd, but just a little bit of a extra bets I'm on for this game.
Yeah. No, again, if it comes down to 3 or less, I would probably then change to the Bengals, but I don't see it doing that. So
yeah,
we'll see.
There is a lot of Raiders money, it looks like, coming in though.
Yeah. So yeah, it will be interesting. Like what it's Friday. It's Friday at 3:42. So we got 24 hours. So
yeah,
we'll see where it's at game time. What about the over under on this one?
What's that again?
48.
Lean over. I don't know. What do you think?
I'd lean over too, just because Bengals' big playability is so good, and like Zach just said, I mean, the Bengals are 28th in the league in passing yards allowed, so they're going to be slinging the ball all across the field. I'd lean over. The only reason that kind of scares me is because like it'd be kind of similar to like what we saw in the Chargers Raiders game on Sunday, where the over looked like it was a lock, and then both teams forgot how to score points in that third quarter.
Yeah.
And I could see a quarter like that in this game, and then it might be like a really big sweat. So to me, aiming at the spread here seems more likely for me than the total. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah. All right. Let's move on. Patriots, Bills, Saturday night football. That sounds weird, but I mean it is Saturday night. Pats going to Buffalo. Buffalo won the AFC East. What do you got, man? Because this one's going to be interesting, and I would love to hear what you got first.
Man, this is one where I'm actually probably going to go against what I said earlier as far as like the winner is going to cover here, because I really look at this game and I think this is going to be, this is maybe just as difficult as the last game, to be honest. Like for me it was anyways. I don't know how you feel, Cody, but there is some weather here concerns wise. I think it's going to be near like 0 degrees, maybe 5 degrees around kickoff or something like that. Not as bad as the weather they played in on that Monday night game in Buffalo, where it was like a tornado storm. I mean, just winds. They could not throw the ball downfield at all. I think Mac Jones attempted 3 passes in the whole game. Just, completed 2 passes the entire game. He had to do nothing. They just ran the ball down their throat, which, honestly, if you look at it too, both these defenses, I mean, they're top 5 in DVOA. Both of them are really good defensively. But where they are a little bit more leaky is on the ground. And I know that Belichick he sees that. He knows that. And Brian Dable for the Bills, he's been actually running the ball a lot more with Devin Singletary over the down the stretch towards the end of the year. I know Josh Allen just had a pretty big game against these Patriots in their second meeting, but I'm looking at this with it being as cold as it is and being in Buffalo, and I imagine that Belichick's going to have more of an adjustment here, or make more of an adjustment this time since he just saw them. He's not going to let Josh Allen kill them, I don't think, through the air. I don't know. I think sidewise you could go really either way. As far as who's winning the game, I'm not going to go outright. I think the Pats probably cover. Not really like super strong on that. I do see this game going under 44 though. That's pretty much my main bet. What do you think?
Yeah. So first off, if you're not on DraftKings, you can go sign up and get some free money on this game this weekend. They're doing like a hammer the over promotion where every 5,000 bets that come in, they're bringing the total down. And last I checked, it was at like 32. So it's like max bet of $25. So
okay, I'm in on that one. Then I didn't know.
Deposit 25. I think it's at like minus 110. So you basically make $25 back. It'll be like 23 or $24, whatever. So you're welcome on that. They're basically trying to give you free money there. But yeah, you're on the under. I'm also on the under because I do think they're just going to run. But man, I like the Bills to cover in this game. I think the Bills, remember going into the season, the Bills had all this hype. They had all this hype and I don't know how else to explain it. They just had all this hype. They had, Josh Allen won a playoff game last year, I believe. He won 1 or 2, right? In the playoffs. He went to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
They beat the Chiefs this year. And, ever since they lost to the Patriots, the Bills have been honestly pretty good. They lost to Tampa Bay in overtime, and then they've won their last 4 games. Now, that includes against New England back on December 26th. I know they played Carolina, Atlanta, and the Jets, so it doesn't really mean much, but still, like, they're coming in playoffs playing pretty well. They beat New England by almost 2 touchdowns at New England. And the thing about New England to me is that Yeah, they're good. But like, again, Mac Jones, first playoff game, rookie quarterback. I do think Belichick's going to have to make this guy throw more than 2 passes, man. I don't care what the weather is. He's going to have to he's going to
Yeah,
have to throw the ball at some point
they're gonna force
unless
him
the
to.
script of the game goes exactly like Belichick wants it. I hate betting against Belichick, but to me, this is like the Bills' time, man. Like they have the quarterback, their defense is solid. It's number 1 in the league, and they're playing well going in the playoffs. They won by double digits in each of their last 4 games. Like they're playing as well as they could be right now. And they're going to be on their home field. They know, their fans know like the history of this matchup. I think like this might be like the Bills Super Bowl. Like I'm not saying the Bills are going to go win the Super Bowl, but like to me, the Bills, they're going to look at this game completely different in a way of like, you know, for their franchise than the Patriots are, because the Patriots just won so many damn games in the playoffs over the years of our lifetime. To me, I think the Bills win this game outright, and I do think they cover 4.5 because I think they win by a touchdown or more. And it all just comes down to the fact that I'm just not going to trust Mac Jones in a playoff setting on the road against a guy who has already been in the playoffs. Josh Allen, he's had his missteps in the playoffs already and got over them, as we saw last year. And like, this is the year for them. Like if they're going to do anything, go to the Super Bowl, whatever, like this is the year for them. This is the year where they can actually do it. So, and I think it starts tomorrow, beating the Pats on their home field and just, you know, go from there. Like I can't see Mac Jones beating Josh Allen, man. I can't see it.
It is a really tough sell, honestly, and you make some great points, like him making his first playoff start. What's he going to be like? He's probably going to have to throw a lot more than, I mean, definitely more than 3 times. He's going to,
yeah,
that's right. Guaranteed. Like, I hope some book would be dumb enough to put like his pass attempts at like 9.5 or something, and I'll just smash the over on that too. But it's going to happen where he's going to be forced into throwing much. I don't know. I could see it. I definitely could see them covering here. I don't feel great about the Patriots here. I think the Bills, like you said, they're looking at this where they get through this round. This is one of their harder opponents, I think, in the playoffs.
Right.
Not to say that like the Chiefs or the Bengals or those teams like that aren't going to be difficult, but I think if you're going to compare maybe even the Titans, I know that they're the 1 seed. I still don't look at the Titans as like I think the Patriots are probably a more difficult matchup, even though you're traveling to Tennessee. I could be completely wrong about that. Maybe that's a hot take, but I think this is a big matchup.
You would look at Tennessee, and if they have Derrick Henry, that team's a lot different. And
yeah,
the way we've looked at Tennessee over the last, month and a half or 2, it's been hard to watch, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, okay. So we're both on the under here, but I got Bills minus 4.5, and you're leaning Patriots plus 4.5. All right. Let's move on. Eagles, Bucks. Spread opened at 7 points. It moved up to 8.5 real quick, and it's been there since then. I'll start here. Over under is at 45.5. And I will say that I like the over at 45.5 because the Eagles defense, as we saw last week, sucks. They gave up 51 points to a Cowboys team that really just did not care about that game. But that's not fully the reason why I like the over. I like that aspect that their defense is not that good. But Tampa Bay also has given up some points. They don't allow people to run the ball, but I do think Jalen Hurts here, first playoff appearance, going to either make some mistakes or he's going to make some plays. He's going to do one of the two, and it's going to lead to some points for Tampa Bay here. For 45 points, you're just asking for Philly to get you maybe 2 touchdowns, and then you're thinking maybe Tampa Bay wins by 2 touchdowns themselves. That hits you the over, I'm pretty sure, if I math correctly. I guess with that said, I like the Bucks, but I don't like the spread because I could also see Tampa Bay doing exactly what they did against the Washington football team in their first game last year in the playoffs, where they almost lost. So I could see them playing down to this Eagles team and still winning the game, but maybe not covering the 8.5. So to me, I like the over. What do you got?
So I do think the Bucks are going to win this game. I don't see a way where they actually lose this game. Of course, it's possible. It could happen. You never know. It's the NFL, blah, 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 blah. But, I just think this is a lot of points. 8.5 points for a Bucks team that, we saw them even struggle against a team like the Jets, and then Brady had to bail them out, and
yeah.
I just think, I know it's in Tampa, but you're talking 15 to 20 mile per hour sustained winds with some potential rain. That could keep the deep passing potentially in check, even for Brady. He's got the type of arm where he could probably cut through that. He's probably going to find some underneath guys like he always does. He can carve up any defense, especially when he gets a good read on him in the first half. Second half is when he can really take over once he looks at it and, he dissects things.
Yeah.
But that's why I think the Bucks are going to win the game. But 8.5 points, and that talking about the wins and stuff, that leads me right into Jalen Hurts with his rushing yards prop. It's at 49.5 last time I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take the over on that because I think he's probably going to have to run a lot, because also the Bucks tend to get pretty good pressure on the quarterback. And they've given up the 4th most rushing yards to opposing quarterbacks. They gave up over 100 to Josh Allen. So, Jalen Hurts can run like Josh Allen or better. So, also the Eagles, I like Gronk in this game. Darius Slay covering Mike Evans. If you have a shutdown corner, I'm not sure what the history is as far as how Slay's done against Mike Evans. It's probably not a Jalen Ramsey type situation, but the Eagles have allowed the most receptions, the most receiving touchdowns, and the 2nd most receiving yards to tight ends this year. Gronk at 59.5. He's went over 100 the last 2 weeks. Even if he can't throw deep as much in this game as they might want to, I think Darius Slay is probably gonna put it to Mike Evans, and I think Gronk over 59.5. So I like a few things in this game, Cody.
I see you like the props. So are you leaning Eagles plus 8.5 too?
Yeah, I'm leaning Eagles plus 8.5. This is another one where I don't really think that they're going to win the game, but I think they can cover it. Mostly
8.5 is it's hard to cover if you're the Buccaneers, but they've had big spreads all season. But also, they've played down to teams too, especially the Jets.
Yeah.
So I get it.
I mostly like it, Cody, as a teaser. So we're going to get to a game here in a little bit that it's got another big spread on it.
Okay.
People could probably guess which one if anyone's watching or listening what I'm getting at here. But
little Sunday night carry. I see
a little Sunday night carry action. I think this is a perfect teaser to go ahead and put up the Eagles to 14.5 and kind of pair it with that one. That's basically that's my main move here, I think.
Well, I like that. So that put the Eagles up to 14.5, bring the Steelers or the Chiefs down to what, 6.5?
Yeah, depending on what side. I'll save it, but yeah, you're on the right track. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, again, I like the over because I just think there's no way there's not going to be points here. I know there's going to be some wins and all that, but the Eagles, man, they just give up points. In Tampa Bay, they still have a lot. They still have great offense, but their defense can be suspect at times too. I just don't see this going under 45. Like 45 to me seems like a low total for this game, in my opinion, based off what we've seen from Jalen Hurts and Tom Brady. More so Jalen Hurts, because I think the Buccaneers going to put up points. The question is will the Eagles put up points? I think Jalen Hurts can, at the very least, can get us some garbage time points. So I think the over is the play here. So let's move on. So obviously the game we just did, that was the first game on Sunday. Next game on Sunday, 49ers at Cowboys. This is like America's game of the week. It's the one everyone keeps talking about. Everyone keeps telling me they're playing this or that on it. So basically it seems like it's the game of the week that people are most intrigued by. And I won't lie, I'm very intrigued by this game because these other games that we've already talked about, like they just don't intrigue me as much. Like they're going to be fun, but like they're not anything. I don't know. I feel like we can see a little bit of everything in this 49ers Cowboys game. So Joey, what do you got here, man?
Man, I know this is a popular play for the dog this week, it seems like. That always scares me. I don't really want to be on the popular play as far as dogs go. America's team with the Cowboys, but I think people are kind of snuffing it out on the Niners side. I mean, it's the first time they've met in the playoffs since the mid-1990s, which that was an extremely high rating playoff game, and you knew the NFL kind of wanted this. This is just perfect for the NFL from a viewership standpoint. So, I mean, I don't know what Trent Williams' status is going into this game. I would like to know that. I didn't really check that before you hop back on here. But the 49ers, though, they're fourth best in adjusted sack rate defensively, the D-line. And the Cowboys' offensive line, good overall, but 12th in adjusted sack rate. I think they can put on some pressure here on Dak. I think that's kind of going to be the key, obviously, here. I like the way that the Niners have been playing for the most part. I just think I think they're going to cover. This is where I'm going to go ahead and just meat on the table, whatever the fuck. Niners money line. Let's go. What do you think?
Wow.
It's not a crazy spread, so it's like not a hot take, I guess. But
yeah, it's plus 135 on the money line.
So we got to see an upset this week, right? We got to see some.
See, that's true, but the Raiders are an underdog, and that's like, to me, that's my upset.
I feel like we're gonna see two, though. We're gonna see 2 or 3 this week. It's gonna be.
You think so?
I do. Yeah.
Ah, man, dude.
I feel like we always see at least 2, right? 2 or 3 wild card weekend.
Yeah. My thing is here. Obviously, I'm going Cowboys -3, and it pains me because obviously I am the biggest Jimmy G stan, not only because I went to college with the guy, but because I think he is better than what many people think. These are what is the term? Couch arm couch guys. What's these couch GMs? These couch GMs on the fucking internet throwing their advanced analytics out there because they can just Google something. Congratulations. Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo isn't, elite or anything, but I like Dak Prescott in this one, man. I can't. And the thing is like Cowboys offense playing as well as it's played all season. I just mentioned they put up 50 against an Eagles team that, I mean, I know they sat Hurts, but like 50 points. I mean, I don't know, man. To me, like that says something. I know they lost to the Cardinals in the game that they really played like shit in. But other than that, though, over the last month, played pretty well. Beat the Saints. They beat everyone in their division. And, they've had some signature wins as well. So Cowboys at home, 3 points? Like, hard to bet against the home team there, man. I'd probably take 49ers if that spread moved up to like 4.5 or 5, but I kind of like 49ers here, or the Cowboys here, just because I just think their offense is more consistent. Like, 49ers were down 17-0 to the Rams last week. And then Jimmy Garoppolo decided that, we're going to the playoffs. And he, arguably had his best game of his career. Which, again, hats off to him. I love the guy. Is a legend on 7th Street in Charleston, Illinois. But to me, like, the NFL wants the Cowboys and the Packers to play in this postseason at some point. And I just think that the Cowboys have more offensively, and they're going to find a way to pull this one out. And again, at 3 points, when you look at a spread of 3 points, it's basically a toss-up, right? Mm-hmm. So to me, the way I'm looking at it from a betting perspective is I'm looking at it as a pick 'em, and I just think the Cowboys are better than the 49ers. And every time the 49ers have a signature game like they had last week, the next week they freaking find a way to have this huge letdown. And it also doesn't help that everyone is on the 49ers, man. Like everyone. So I'm going to zig while everyone else zags. Yeah. I'm going to zig while everyone else zags, man. Like, this is the game I zig while everyone else zags. Like, to me, the way everyone's talking about the 49ers this week, I feel like the Cowboys are the underdog with the way that everyone keeps talking about the 49ers.
You would think so.
Yeah.
You definitely think so. And maybe I have some apprehension with the Cowboys towards them because, I feel they've let down a lot in the playoffs themselves. So maybe there's part bias there that I can't get those past images out of my head of the Tony Romos in the playoffs. And he wasn't horrible, but the team just had letdowns in the playoffs. And maybe I'm just I'm thinking too much back in the past. Mm-hmm. I do think it's just going to be a hell of a game. And how dare you bet against Jimmy G, but whatever.
It pains me, man. It pains me that I'm going to take the Cowboys, but if the game was in San Francisco, I would take the 49ers, but I don't know, man. For example, let's go back December 19th. They blow out the Falcons after they beat the Bengals the week before. So they won two in a row. Then they go to Tennessee and lay an egg. And this Tennessee team doesn't have Derrick Henry. That Tennessee team hasn't played it has not looked like a number one seed, like you said. And then they bounce back, beat Houston with Trey Lance, and then down 17-0 against the Rams. Come back, win. To me, that says more about the Rams than it does the 49ers, in my personal opinion. I feel like I'm disrespecting the 49ers in a big way, and it pains me because again, I'm rooting for Jimmy G. I want him to do well. I like Kyle Shanahan. His dad went to my school as well. It pains me to say, I just think the Cowboys are a better team. Point blank. I just think the Cowboys are the better team. At home. They got something to prove. They're like I said, everyone's talking about it. Everyone's talking about 49ers this week. Everyone at my job definitely is. So I feel like if people at my work are on it, then other people are talking about it somewhere too. So yeah. I like Cowboys
dogs, man. The public dogs are just, you don't want to take the public ones. That's usually what they say, right? So I could be.
I'm honestly surprised it's not moved down to a pick 'em at this point, because I've heard so many people on the 49ers.
That's what makes you wonder, though, right? There's got to be some sharp money there on the Cowboys too. That's somebody that's sharp pushed this line and just kept the line. I think it was what was the spread at though? Was it 3.5 at one point?
Probably. I don't think it's really moved though. It's really been much. Right around 3 the entire time since it opened. So
yeah, it makes you wonder. I don't know if we'll see a 2.5, but it does make you wonder.
Right. All right, man. Well, here we have reached Sunday night, Carrie. I've been waiting all day for a Sunday night.
Why is this the Sunday night game? Can I just say that?
Steelers, Chiefs. Yeah, I don't know why it's a Sunday night game.
The worst one on the slate, maybe?
The worst one, man. The only reason the Steelers are in the playoffs is because of Brandon Staley.
What an idiot. What an idiot. I think he's going to be a good coach. I do. I just think, man, he just overthought
Kind of
himself.
wish I wish the Bears would have kept him because
Yeah.
he's done well with Justin Herbert. I feel like there's other issues with that team though, and why they didn't make the playoffs this year. But
Yeah. But all they had to do
he
was get
seems
that
like a
tie.
competent coach who knows how to put quarterback in the right position. Though seems like someone that the Chicago Bears could use. Am I right?
Let that guy get out of the building for what reason?
Yeah. But we got the Steelers traveling to Arrowhead at Kansas City, 12.5-point dogs. Ben Roethlisberger's likely last game of his career. Pat Mahomes trying to load up for another Super Bowl run here. Spreads 12.5, total is 46. Last time these two teams played just a few weeks ago, the Chiefs, in a way, bent the Steelers over and said, fuck you, or something like that. I guess that's the nicest way I can put it. But it was a bloodbath. In other words, they lost 36-10. It was like 36-3, or the Steelers had 3 points like the entire game. They scored a touchdown, garbage time. So, yeah, man. I know you mentioned the teaser, so let's hear the rest of it now.
Yeah.
Or if you have an actual play on the game singly.
I don't, because I'm a little bit worried about the spread. And I just think 2 touchdowns basically is what you're asking for here from the Chiefs. I think it's a lot. I do think they win this game by 2 touchdowns, honestly, at least. But it makes me nervous whenever it's, 12.5 or whatever, or up of that. But at 12.5, a perfect teaser. Get down to 6.5. You pair that up with what I would like for 14.5 with the Eagles, or you could do it with another favorite that you like, or, your favorite play, get more points. Maybe for you, Cody, would be maybe the Raiders or something, you could do something like that. And I just think also, I was looking at a little bit of like trends from the wild card round. Home teams favored by 10 or more points are a perfect 5-0 ATS in the history of the wild card round. In all playoff matchups since 2011, double-digit favorites are 7-1 against the spread. So I lean Chiefs like against the spread too to cover this game, but like to me, just nice and easy. Let's get that 6.5, easy peasy. Send out Big Ben out on whatever. It's not going to be it's not going to be a nice final game for him, but it'll be fun, I guess. Whatever. At least he made a playoff, right?
Right. Man, you tell me that trend and I'm like, fuck, that completely changes like how I feel about the game now. Because I was going to take, and I probably still will at this point, Steelers or Chiefs Steelers plus 12.5. Just because like the whole reason Big Ben even came back was because of how they lost last year. So I just feel like it's going to be hard for the Chiefs to blow the Steelers out twice in a row.
Right.
Like that's why I kind of like the Steelers here plus 12.5, because I just don't see Big Ben getting embarrassed on prime time in his last game of his career. I really don't see it.
Yeah, the key for them too, I think, if they can defensively get some like relentless pressure on Mahomes with like Watt, we've seen him do it all season long.
Right.
And maybe they make this thing interesting, a little bit more interesting than we want. I think at the end of the day, I just want the guy that has just better talent right now at this stage of his career, and probably honestly ever, like just because Mahomes is that generational. But so I think like an easy 7-point win. But I'm not going to talk anybody off of betting against the spread here, even though that was the trend. I think you're right. I don't think they're going to be like embarrassed here completely. It's not going to be. It could get out of hand. I just don't really see that, because Tomlin's a good enough coach where they're going to use their strengths, right? They're going to get Najee involved. Juju Smith-Schuster is going to play, apparently, like return this week. So, I mean, they got some weapons that they can use, even if Big Ben can't throw it more than, 8 yards now. But
Yeah.
They use them the best that they can, and they make stuff happen somehow.
Yeah. And since I'm like on the Steelers here, I kind of like the under because I feel like the only way the Steelers can maintain pace is with their defense just shutting down the Chiefs. And we've seen it this year. We've seen the Chiefs defense or not Chiefs defense, but the Chiefs offense just like go silent out of nowhere. I mean, I still can't believe they almost lost to Jordan Love.
Oh
I know
man,
that was like 2 months ago, but still, like, I can't believe they almost lost to Jordan Love. Jordan Love managed to cover 6.5 points that day. One of the greatest covers of my life, if like bar in, because like I took it and was like, I'm gonna feel like an idiot after this, and then they did. Fuck Green Bay. At least they lost that game. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like Pittsburgh's defense, they're going to like TJ Watt, like you said, they got Joe Hayden back there in the secondary. And the thing about the Chiefs offense they've figured out, and I feel like I've said it a handful of times on here, is, when they were struggling early in the year on offense, like they were trying to hit home run plays all the time still. And they have progressed now to a point where like Patrick Mahomes feels like, okay, I'm going to go underneath now because I can't hit Tyreek Hill on the deep route on this play or whatever, or Travis Kelce. So he's been going under a lot more. And as much as people like to put down dinking and dunking on freaking quarterbacks, like it's working out for their offense and they're moving the ball downfield. Like that's the only thing that kind of scares me is like, how will the Steelers be able to maintain the Chiefs offense? Because again, the Chiefs offense has been playing pretty well. Can't count. I mean, they almost lost to Denver last week, and they tried that entire game. And they lost to Cincinnati as well the week before that. So their defense has given up points, gave up 24 to Denver, which is a lot for that Denver team, and 30 or 34 to Cincinnati. Pittsburgh's so bad. They really are. Like they beat Baltimore, who sucks, and they beat Cleveland, who sucks. They beat Tennessee though, like a month ago. Like not even a month ago. On December 19th, they beat Tennessee. Like that. Like that's the thing about the Steelers, though, man. Like, and I think it goes back to Tomlin and it goes back to Big Ben and like just the experience and like the culture and all this shit. Like their defense is going to keep them in the game somehow. They're going to cover 12.5. We're going to send Big Ben off into the sunset. He's going to lose by a touchdown. Rip in peace, brother. Like,
yeah,
I think that's man. I want to bet the Chiefs. I do. But if Big Ben wasn't Big Ben and Tomlin wasn't Tomlin, and like I just don't see like a blowout again. I just don't see it. Can't do it.
yeah, it's tough. I actually like your move there though. If you do like the Steelers and maybe that defense clicking, it's probably going to be more of an ugly game. So why not just package it together, do a little combo of Steelers plus money and then the under or whatever. I mean,
yeah,
that's
under's at 46.
Nice,
yeah, is at 40. It's the under's at 46 right now. I'd play it. I'd play it to 45. But if that number goes up, that might be scary. If it goes like if tomorrow, if on Sunday that number's at like 48, I'll be a little scared, but I'll probably still play it.
Who's putting money on this?
Yeah. So anyway, this game sucks. Like, it sucks. It's on Sunday Night Football. I'm gonna listen to Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth just suck on Pat Mahomes' dick the entire time, and then sometimes talk about how great Big Ben was, and we'll just ignore all of the stuff he did off the field that people just keep shoving to the side. Whatever.
Right. It's basically what it feels like. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. At least the Packers aren't playing on Sunday Night Football, so we don't have to listen to Collinsworth suck on Aaron Rodgers' dick.
That's honestly the worst. I can't. I don't even want to spend my Sunday watching football at that point.
All right, man. Last game, Monday Night Football. First off, I love that we're doing a wild card game on Monday night, so it's just kind of like an easy like letdown for the week. You know what I mean? So Monday Night Football, Cardinals, Rams. We got the spread at 4. Rams 4-point favorites. Over under 49.5 points. My friend, I like the over here. I think there's going to be some points. I think Stafford might throw a pick 6 because he's gotten used to doing that a lot here. Rams at home doesn't mean anything because these fans out in Los Angeles aren't real fans. They're just people who live in California who have the money to go watch football in a really, 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 really nice stadium. Arizona, they kind of went through a little bit of a stretch there where they sucked, but then they beat Dallas at home. And then I know they lost to Seattle last week, but how much were they really trying? Like, because it's the last game of the year, they're already in. I know they struggled down the stretch, but either way, I like the over here at the very least. I think there's going to be some points here. You know, Arizona's or Los Angeles offense total yards number 9, Arizona's number 8 in football. So I think there's going to be some points, and that 4-point spread's a little scary to me. So I kind of like the total here at 49.5. Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm not touching the total, but I agree with a lot of like what you're saying. I think, you make a lot of good points if these offenses get rolling. They've got power on both sides to really make this thing smash if that's the case. Like the Cooper Cup's been insane this year for the Rams. He's been one of the best receivers. I mean, the best, literally, if you look at fantasy and all that.
He'll win like Triple Crown, right, for receivers with catches, yards, and touchdowns.
He's been unreal. He has been unreal. I mean, and you look at the other side, they've got guys Christian Kirk, Zach Ertz. I can't think of
DeAndre Hopkins should be back, shouldn't he?
Is he playing? Okay, I wasn't aware of that. If he was or not, we should look.
I'm not for sure.
But they also still have AJ Green. They've got James Conner, who's been playing really well. Conner just had another 2 touchdowns his last game, which helped me smash a first-time ever 2+ touchdown bet parlay, which I did with Lockett and James Conner, which amazing. $5 turned into 500 almost. So
love to see it. Yeah, Hopkins is out. He's not expected back until like late January. So if we'll see him if the Cardinals get to like the NFC Championship game or some shit.
Yeah, so that's a tough one, but they've been able to kind of use the rest of their weapons. So I think that it doesn't really matter as much as far as like their overall production. It might limit them a little bit. When you don't have a playmaker like DeAndre Hopkins, it's a loss. But for a team with as much depth as they have, it's not as big of a loss. I think this is a game where maybe we see the Cardinals get back on track. We've seen Stafford they've been winning these games lately, and Stafford has not really been playing well lately. I don't know what it is, but like you said, the pick sixes, just the interceptions, the mistakes recently have kind of been a problem for him.
Can we go over the Rams' schedule since November 28th?
Sure, yeah.
I got it up. I'll go through it. All right, so I remember the Rams were 2-point favorites at Green Bay on November 28th. They end up losing 36-28. It was the easiest. Like, I wish I'd bet my bank account on it because you get the Packers as underdogs at home. Just slam it. You take it. I hate it. I hate that franchise. I hate Aaron Rodgers. I hate everything about the state of Wisconsin. But they've won me a lot of money this year. All right. So the Rams lose at Green Bay. That was their 3rd straight loss. People are starting to talk about the Rams and how like they're losing and like, they went all in this year, man. They have like no draft picks until like, I don't know, in like another 7 years. They went and got Von Miller. You got Jalen Ramsey. You got Aaron Donald, best defensive back in the league or whatever. And all these guys, you go get Stafford to replace Jared Goff, who you basically said sucks. And, they lost 3 in a row at that point. And they was not good. Then they get Jacksonville. They host Jacksonville. They destroy them. No one gives a shit because it's Jacksonville. Then they beat up on Arizona. They beat Seattle. They beat up on Minnesota. They beat Baltimore and then lost last week. So they've won 5 out of the last 6 games going into the postseason. Now, to me, that game, like I say they won 5 of the last 6, but did they really look that great doing it? They didn't look great against Baltimore, only won by 1 point. They won by a touchdown against Minnesota. Should have been more if Stafford didn't throw any interceptions. Won by 10 at Seattle, whatever. Or not at Seattle. They hosted Seattle. They won by 10. And they beat Arizona by a touchdown. So they're not blowing teams out. They're winning by, 10 points at most. And then they lose that game against San Francisco last week. I don't know. To me, I feel like the Cardinals are more fraudulent than the Rams. I feel like this is two frauds going up against each other right now. Even though the Rams are they have all these expectations, man. I think there's more pressure on the Rams to win on Monday night than it is the Cardinals. Because the Cardinals, they don't have Hopkins and, they didn't play well down the stretch. To me, they're kind of going into Los Angeles with house money. But it's still hard for me to want to even bet the Cardinals. That's why I kind of like the over. I just think there's going to be some points. So that's my 2 cents on what you're talking about here, because it's tough.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with what you're saying. I mean, it kind of feels like two frauds going at each other. They both have certain aspects to both these teams that you can really get behind and you really like. And I mean, I think defensively, both teams are pretty solid, for the most part. You look at outside of the Bears game, I think the Bears game up until the Cowboys game, that was the first game or the last game they won up until the Cowboys game. And they, the Bears didn't even, I don't think they didn't even have Fields in that game. So it's how can you really feel that great about the Cardinals right now? And
yeah.
I know
game against the Bears too, they didn't look that great. The Bears were just bad.
they looked bad, and it was the turnovers that got the Bears, really. They put them in.
They won by 11 in that game. I'm pretty sure they were 14-point favorites or something. No, they were 7.5. They covered that game. My bad.
Yeah, but it was still just a
They lost to Detroit, and it wasn't even by a few points. They lost to Detroit by multiple touchdowns.
Oh yeah, and people were putting the Cardinals in a lot of their parlays and teasing them down.
That weekend.
I'm just I'm not touching this. That just screams problems because everybody's on it as a favorite. And I'm no, hell no, I'm not. Can't do it.
Yeah.
In the words of Bart Scott.
What the thing that just that I can't understand is they lose to the Rams, they lose to Detroit by a ton, lose to Indianapolis, then beat the Cowboys at Dallas, but then lose last week to Seattle, which, again, I don't know how much to put into that because, I don't know, it was the last game of the year. They're already in the playoffs. How much does it matter? I don't know.
Right. I mean, I think they were still playing, though, for seeding, technically. They were still playing for, and I believe so were the Rams, really. Both these teams.
Both teams were playing for seeding. Yeah.
And they both shit the bed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's you look at these teams, and it's hard to really pick out stuff that I really, really love or feel great about going deep into the playoffs. And I'm just going to go ahead and take the points. Why not? You're going to give me points against a team that I don't really believe that don't have a super strong opinion about either one way or the other at this point. I'll take the points. I'll take the money line because why
so
not?
Taking Cardinals +4.
Yeah, I'll just take Cardinals +4. I'll do a little sprinkle on the money line. I don't feel great about anything in this game, to be honest. Nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe some props later on or something.
Well, the Cardinals are 1-8-1 against the spread the last 10 meetings with the Rams. So,
oh, great.
I don't know if that changes your mind.
I feel great now. Yeah,
but Spin Zone road team is 5-1-1 against the spread the last 7 meetings.
Well, we're going for that one then. We're taking that as the narrative.
But Spin Zone again, favorite is 8-2-1 against the spread in the last 11 meetings.
Jesus.
These trends mean nothing, man. I don't know.
I know.
I'm with you. I'd probably, if I were to take the spread right now, I'd probably take the Cardinals. And it's Friday right now. By Monday, there are going to be some money coming in on one of these games.
You'd imagine, yeah.
I'd love to see some money come in on the Rams so I can feel a little bit more confident taking the Cardinals if I bet the spread. But either way, though, I think that there's going to be some points. I think we're going to see some touchdowns. I think this is going to be a great Monday Night Football game where we see like 30-some to 30.
You know the NFL is going to want that too. So we could see some extra penalties called just to kind of set up, some pass interference plays here and there.
Right.
The NFL wants that Monday night playoff shootout. I feel like they're
exactly like this is the first time they're ever doing that. So they're hoping for a great game here. They're going to slip some money to the refs and be like, hey, call a couple pass interferences a little bit more than you normally do. And for me and you, since we're not fans of either team, we can support that.
I'm good with seeing more points. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with that.
Right. All right, man. Well, that's NFL wildcard weekend. I'm excited. I've been waiting for this, honestly, for like the last 2 months because the Bears suck. So I could give two fucks what happened the last 2 months of the year. So I've been waiting for playoff football for a while. And we have to embrace it and enjoy it because football is going to be gone soon. We forgot to talk about at the very beginning of the game. Fuck Alabama. I still take them again, but fuck them. They cost me $150. Rip in peace. But again, I take them again tomorrow if they played.
It cost each of us $150.
Yeah, we were off on the college football national championship, but I did apparently. Tally site put their overall rankings for college football out this week. For this year, I finished 9th out of 159 bettors, which is just insane to me to see that number.
Yeah, you had a hell of a year.
Yeah, I did have a hell of a year. And that's probably why my college basketball has not been great. So I need to switch the juju up on my college basketball, man, because eventually there's not going to be any football, and I got to win some money somehow. But yeah, no, I'm excited for these games tomorrow and Sunday, and then Monday as well. I'm off on Monday from my day job, so I'm just gonna be gonna ride through the day and get ready for Monday Night Football playoff. Oh man, I just hope that ESPN's broadcast isn't just unbearable. I might just have to watch the Manning cast on Monday night.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. I feel like I actually have to record a podcast that like a Reds or like a season. NL Central season preview. I'm not sure. Somebody asked me to come on their podcast, so I'm gonna have the game on over here in this corner and doing that. But I'm still excited to watch this game.
Hell yeah, man! All right, well, everyone, here's my spiel. Go follow On Tap Sportsnet on social media, and go follow On Tap Bets on Twitter, and then you can follow me on Twitter at Cody on Tap and Joey at the Riot 326. We're going to have the Lock'em Parlay.
Yes,
probably
sir.
2 of them. I think we'll have one for Saturday, and I think we'll have one for Sunday.
Hey, Cody.
And
real fast,
if you're watching live right now, make sure you're following us because we're going to have a Bulls Parlay.
100%. 100%.
So that's if you're watching live right now. But, yeah. Tune in. Watch out. If you're not following us on social media, you're not going to see the Lock'em Parlay. We're posting the Lock'em Parlay of the week, Saturday and Sunday. It's usually compiled of prop bets. So we came so close, Joey. So close. One leg. We could have won like $400 or $500, depending on how much money you put down. I put like 10. So close. We came so close. We're going to hit it. I'm speaking it into existence.
We're getting one of these.
Yeah,
it's going to come in the playoffs. It has to because it didn't come in the regular season.
It has to, man. Like we just again, you have to breathe it in and embrace the belief in winning.
Yeah,
and it will get it. Like you just have to like play with Carmex energy or whatever. You know what I mean? Like this is for all of the people who play the parlay with us. Like.
You look like
good vibes.
You look like you're summoning the gambling gods. I feel.
Yeah, I'm summoning the gambling gods, brother. We need this parlay to hit. Like I need it like air to breathe, bro. I need it like air to breathe because when that parlay hits, we can celebrate like the Bears won the Super Bowl or some shit.
We're gonna make everybody their money back that if they've been
that we've lost them. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess that entire spiel is make sure you're following Untitled Bets on Twitter. You follow me and Joey on social media. I just created a new Instagram account for content as well. So if you're on Instagram, go follow me at Cody on Tap. Again, we'll be back next week, probably doing more playoff football. And
Cody,
yeah,
Cody.
What else?
Lock them, or not lock them, but do we have like a crack 'em lock for this weekend?
Oh, crack 'em lock. Okay, of the picks that we gave in this one today, I probably like. Oh God. I think my lock is the under on Pat's Bills, 44.5.
Yeah.
Again, take that promotion that's on DraftKings. So take that and then take the actual under. I think it's a lock, both of them. I mean, obviously the promotion that DraftKings is doing. Also, and I know they're technically kind of a competitor, but Barstool's doing a promo where you place a 6-leg parlay of all the spreads on these 6 games. And if it hits, if you place $10 on it and it hits, you get whatever you make, and they give you $1,000 of bonus cash to play with.
That's wild.
So yeah, if you're signed up on the Barstool Sportsbook, go do that. And if you're not signed up, get in your car and drive your ass to Aurora and sign up, because that's a hell of a promo.
That's what I might need to do.
Yeah.
I missed the cutoff when they were doing the signups for Barstool.
Well, I think it's coming back in March. So, yeah, I think those are the big the big promos that I've seen. I'm sure FanDuel has some interesting ones too. I know they always have same game parlay promos where you can get like parlay insurance and stuff. So either way, it's NFL wildcard weekend. These motherfuckers at these sports books, they want you to spend your money. So spend it responsibly, spend it well, ride with us. Don't ride with us. I don't give a shit. But if you're listening or subscribing, I appreciate you. And I hope that our advice is at least helping you in some way or another.
Yeah. I would like to point out one more thing too. Zach likes my play. I'm pretty sure he was talking about the 49ers. He was
talking about the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm doing the same, no bias. So, yeah, of course.
No bias.
No bias.
He's a 49ers fan.
Yeah. Also, I guess my lock of the week, can I do a teaser? Is that allowed?
Yeah. You said you were going to do your teaser.
I'll just do that. I think that's my lock of the week. I like the probably get it now because I feel like that number is going to go up for the Chiefs. Might be like 13.5. So if you can tease it while it's at 12.5, you're going to get a better price. If you take Chiefs minus 6.5 and then teasing the Eagles up to 14.5 from 8.5. I like that. Pair those two together. 14.5 for the Eagles.
I like that. I think I'm going to ride that with you, to be honest. That might be better than actually taking the Steelers and hoping and praying that they hang in.
Yeah, I know. It's scary. You can tease them up, though, too. You can take that side. So
yeah, I could take that instead of the Chiefs. Okay.
Unless it turns into like a 28-point game, though, and you're just like, fuck my life. What did I – it's the Falcons all over again for me or something.
All right, man. Well, we'll be back next week. Everyone, thanks for listening. Let's lock them and then let's stack them after we cash these fucking tickets, man.
Let's do it. Best of luck.